So now we're gonna do the base distro config. So this is what a while back I was trying to get the meta ready demo layer conf, and I actually accidentally copied the distro config, and I was kind of like taken out of base just because it was so weird and didn't have some stuff. So long story short, this is the file that we want now. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and create a distro directory inside the conf directory, and then we're gonna create the distro conf. So if you guys come here to the MediaTek repo, you can actually see that exact same structure. That is because just Yocto structure, so every Yocto is built the same. In here, you will see like we're inside the conf directory. Inside of the conf directory, we have a distro directory, which is something that we need to create. So let's see, we have right now we have only conf directory, so we're gonna mtk dir. So mkdirs, make dir conf distro. There you go. So we can do 3. Now we have the distro directory inside the conf directory, and now we need to create the configuration file. If you guys pay some attention, you will see that the configuration file for this distro uses the same name that the meta layer has, right? So this meta layer is called meta ready demo, and then the distro configuration file is ready demo. Ready demo conf, right? So the meta doesn't go into the name of the file, but then the rest of the name, which is the actual name of the meta layer, goes right into is used for your file. So taking that into account, what we'll need to do is just come here, open our distro directory. We're gonna create a new file, and we're gonna name it how pnmtk.conf, right? So pn-mtk, which is the name of our meta layer, and then conf. So if we go here, essentially this is we want a base of this configuration file, which is MediaTek1, and then you see that's named the same as our meta layer. That's how it should go, right? So we're gonna copy this, and then we're gonna paste it here. So you will see, guys, that this first of all, you will notice this require. This is because we can require files that are even on other meta layers. As long as you have the meta layers installed in your Yocto build, which we will show later how to, you will be able to pull these config files or whatever. Like essentially, you can just kind of like inherit other stuffs like classes even. But in this case, it is an include file that is from conf distro ready. And this is one thing that we can do. Like for example, we can just leave it like this, since we're gonna still add the ready meta layer later. Like in theory, we should be able to pull that. But if you guys want, just count for curiosity, we can just go here and try to find that include file, because I was trying to look for it earlier and I wasn't able to find it. So I guess it's not on the meta ready demo meta layer. It's probably somewhere else. So if we go one step outside, we will see what we're playing with this meta ready demo. So I guess it's gonna be either on skeleton or on bring up. So let's go to skeleton, that makes more sense. Then conf, then distro. So we have the distro skeleton conf. Let's see if this includes the same thing. Yeah, they include conf distro ready inc. Let me see if this is somewhere else around here. So local machines, so machines, where the machines go, so it shouldn't be there. And then we have meta ready. Let me see, meta ready, cast docs, meta ready bring up, conf, distro ready bring up conf. So it's not that either. That's very interesting. Where is that? So meta conf distro ready inc. So this is the file that all those other meta layers is trying to import, right? So for example, this one we just copied over from the MediaTek demo distro config file. So this require conf distro ready is right here. So right, and actually it kind of requires a different one. It requires the Pocky one, and Pocky is just from base Yocto, so we don't need to worry about that. Like we're gonna require Pocky regardless. So what I want to actually see is like what are we including here? So does it make sense for us to include it or not? Like just that, right? So just to make sure, we're just gonna look into here. So it called like it has a very base distro name, this like a distro, a basic distro name, a basic distro version. It has some Python functions here. These Python functions, let us see what it does. So it says that sets WKS file according to the features. So that's very interesting. Really, I don't really understand what that is. We'll need to look into what that WKS file is, so we can look into that later. Okay, defines a very basic image home size. We can probably change that later depending on what we need. And then it has the current classes, you would suffix, you blah blah blah. So yeah, we can just leave that there. I don't think it's gonna do any damage. Then we have, like, for example, here what you can see is this is very interesting actually. So in here you see the distro, it's changed. Like, we import, like, in this file, this is now our file. I know that we copied from MediaTek, right? But it's now our file. So what we're doing here is in line 3, we're changing, even though we are importing ready inc, which already defines distro to ready, we're renaming it, right? We're renaming it to the name of our distro. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and rename this to pn-mtk, which is our distro. Then they provide a name, so they would say this is ready demo layer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create we're gonna do pn-mtk demo layer, right? So we're gonna do that pn-mtk layer. So I'm just gonna leave it like that, pn-mtk layer init manager. So this is already selecting which init manager we're going to be using. Systemd is very cool, let's use that. That's widely used. You know, if you want to demonize stuff, you want it to be done with systemd in this case. If you wanted to use another init manager, you can definitely do it. You can look for it and use it. However, in all the years I have kind of working on this, systemd is the way to go. Then okay, distro features. There are some very basic distro features that are already included in the demo and in this demo distro, which are, for example, PyWire. This is a demo one, probably is a package they have. PAM, firmware update, expand with FS, and BTF. Okay, we can just leave them there. Then it seems like they're using Wayland, and then they're also adding Vim as the virtual runtime environment. Let me see what else they're doing here. So mount var log in present storage, so it's possible to keep journal logs. Okay, so this is for journal logging. That's cool. We want that, right? If one of our services is not working, we can just go ahead and look into there. Then they have the config file, pn western init, no idle timeout, package classes, package deb. So yeah, we want that. And then package fit URIs. Okay, package management. Okay, this all here seems to be very basic stuff, so it doesn't really bother me just skipping it. One thing that we can do is, like, for example, if, like we saw, we already had other meta layers. Like, we are currently basing ourselves like our meta layer or out of MetaReady demo, but we can definitely check MetaReady skeleton, which sounds to be a little bit more streamlined. So if we go into a distro and we check the distro configuration file, well, yeah, this is a lot more streamlined in the sense that it is empty. Like, we don't have, like, besides the naming, I don't think there's pretty much anything left. So they're importing that, they're just defining the naming, and they're just leaving everything as really requires it. However, I'm really liking how the demo stuff is defined here, like systemd and all that. So let's just leave it like that. I'm sure it's gonna be working perfectly, and we don't, like, probably we're not gonna be coming back to this in a good while until we are ready to add new distro features. So cool. Now we have our distro configuration file. So let's just go ahead and check. So that's, if we compare with our handy dandy guy here, you will see that we have step 2 add base distro image. It has this specific structure. So if we go ahead and do a tree, now we are matching that tree structure. So we have the conf, the distro, and then the pm-mtk conf, which is how everything's here, which is very cool. So we were already checking okay, so we already created the distro. We checked, it matches what we have on our wiki, which is great. Now we're ready with that. So all we can do is just remember, we can just go ahead and copy here the config, this add base distro config thingy. This works perfectly for the git commit message. So we're gonna come here, we're gonna get status probably. Okay, yeah, so this is stuff that's not being tracked by git, obviously. So what we're gonna do is git add conf distro and the distro config file, git status once again. So that looks pretty good. Let's do git commit --m, the name of the commit message, which is gonna be add base distro config. Pretty cool, right? And then we're gonna hit enter. That's gonna require us to sign the commit. All right, so we're good to go. Step 2, done. Easy. So far, so good.